Good evening. As promised, here's the introduction to the head race garage for this 1997 ZZ-R1100. How on earth did I end up with this? Well, I wasn't intending on buying it, to be completely honest. I've always loved ZZ-Rs. As you know, I've got the 600 if you follow the channel. And like all kids of the 80s/90s, this was the absolute machine to hanker after, to desire, to think you'd never own it. And a combination of things all aligned at the same time. This one popped up at the right price, which we'll come to in a minute. And after doing some very careful consideration about the well publicised pay situation within the NHS, I took a few calculated risks and decided to purchase this. So question number one, I'm sure you're all asking, is how much did I pay for this? So no big secret, it was £1,750. That included a new 12-month MOT, delivery, which actually I got impatient and ended up collecting it just last Saturday actually. And as you see in front of you is, other than the sponge over, exactly as I picked it up. So we'll do a quick front to back in this video. As is customary, I'll do a few riding videos and stuff coming up. Gorgeous evening tonight. It's Tuesday the 2nd of May, and as you can see we're out in the forest. My traditional New Forest, which I absolutely love it out here. Lots of us out tonight on our bikes, as you can see. Someone there on a new Harley Sportster, I think it was. So we'll start with the front to back. It's got Pirelli Diablos on this, which is a really interesting choice for a ZZ-R11. It's traditionally more of a sporty tyre, and a big heavy old shed like this, I mean it's 230 kilos. It'd be interesting to see how they perform on the ZZ-R11. As you can see, I've taken it pretty easy at the moment. I'm not really used to this bike. I've done less than 100 miles on it. The tyres look pretty much new, to be honest. They're well within date code, so I'm happy to run these for a little while. Brake discs, bear in mind the mileage, which is 28,000. They are commensurate with that, so I'm fully confident these are the original discs. And very rarely for one of these, all Kawasaki's of this age are very prone to it. There's absolutely no warp on those. When it was MOT'd, I watched the dial gauge for the brake test. Absolutely no warp at all, which is extraordinarily rare for these discs. They're common, well the design at least is common to many Kawasaki's of the age. ZX6, 9, particularly the 7, in fact they might even be the same discs, not 100% sure on that one. Brakes for pot torque ecos, common with lots of bikes of this age, particularly the ZZ-R6, ZX-R750. They're actually a really good match for the bike, to be honest with you guys. She is heavy, and it's no big secret these do go well. And the brakes are, I would say, they're fine. They're no more than that. They're certainly nothing compared to modern brakes. And where this has been laid up for the best part of 10 years, I'm just taking it easy, bringing everything back to life. She will get a full service, and by full service I mean everything. That's coolant, plugs, air filters, fuel filters, coolant filters. That's coolant filters in these as well. Obviously carb balance as well, oil and filter. Remember on these guys, 2 drain plugs. If you ever service these, there's 2 drain plugs on these. So just be aware of that. Forks on these, I think they're 43mm, somewhere around there. Big anyway. Stanchion's in really good nick. No signs of any leakage. It doesn't look like an all balls set of seals and dust covers in there. I'm not going to say the standard that mileage, I very much doubt it. The all balls ones you can spot very easily by the little spring clip around the outside. Fork oil, yeah, maybe, we'll see. It seems to handle really well. Taking into context what it is, she is an old girl. Braided lines on these, which is pretty much essential, not so much for the braking power. These are Wes lines, which actually I'm a really big fan of. I've got those on my 600. Fluid could do with a change. I did top it up, but that's one of the jobs for the service as well. Yeah, not bad at all, the brakes. So let's do a quick look over the dash. I mean, in their day, these were really well equipped, but they're pretty basic now, to be honest with you. Slide you down there. Fuel gauge, as you can see, 28,371 miles. 56 miles on this trip, which we'll come back to in a minute. Red line's at 11.5. You're a braver man than me if you can get it up near there on the road. And temperature gauge. The clock on this one actually doesn't work. It's one of the very few things I've found on this bike that does need, at some point, I mean, real no urgency at all, maybe change that digital clock. I do find this quite useful. Little storage cubby hole thingy down there, which is completely useless. The one on the 600 is way better. Adjustable suspension. So we've got preload and rebound on these. I don't think it's compression. I'll have to check that one and get back to you. No electronics, no traction control, no ABS, nothing like that on these ones. This is back in the olden days. And the manual fuel tap, which I absolutely love. Any of you people that do work on your own bikes, although auto or vacuum taps as they're called, are generally very reliable. There are some real benefits to the manual fuel taps, particularly on Kawasaki's, as they run a separate union for main tank and reserve tank. It actually goes back to the old days when they used to race them, and they used to tandem the lines, scrap all the fuel taps and go straight into the pump themselves. A bit of boring history for you, there you go. So what's good and what's bad? As you can see, the general overall condition, being a digital camera, being a DJI, it does make things look better than they are. You probably already spotted it. The only little ding or damage I suppose you can see is this little ding on the fuel tank just there. I'm really not too bothered about it. I mean, it's 26 years old, 1997 now. I certainly had a few knocks on me as well by that age. So let's carry on with the front to back then. Front wheel bearings all good, forks all good, there's no grinding. Bushes and seals all feel fine. Probably freshen with or benefit from a fresh oil in there, which I'll do at some point. Brakes have already covered. General condition of the clocks is really good. Clutch, hydraulic on these, which is fantastic. And that thing there, guys, for the younger generation is called a choke lever. If you're not sure what it does, ask your parents. Clutch is, yeah, a bit juddery. Where it was laid up for 10 years, it probably has been on the side stand, a bit of a dry patch formed on the plates. It seems to be freeing up in time and certainly getting a lot better, so I'm pretty confident that'll come out just with a bit of use. In terms of what the exhaust headers are like, yeah, not great, as you can see. It is the standard system, and that is like hen's teeth now. And judging by the state of this one, it's probably not got too many years left in it. If it lasts another couple of years, I'll be happy. These are carb fed, not injected, everyone. The carbs aren't bad, again, could benefit with the balance and what some people will call an Italian tune-up. Just getting used to this machine at the moment. I'm going to give it a little bit more time before I start doing that, but she is clearing out, she is coming back to life. After 10 years laid up, it will take a little bit of waking up. Let's go on this car just here, not causing any problems. 24 litre fuel tank on these, which is absolutely huge. 200 miles, yet not a problem at all. I have done nearly that on the first tank of fuel I've done with it. Really, really good size fuel tank. One of the real benefits, a proper sports tourer. As I say, engine is, it sounds very Kawasaki. Slight bit of cam chain noise on these, which again is it's not completely unusual. If it carries on after the service, I might put another cam chain tensioner on there. Again, not completely unusual for these. Very, very comfortable. It feels very large and very heavy, which is unsurprising because it is exactly both those things. Proper dual seat, his and hers, his and his, hers and hers, everything in between. It's 2023. Grab handles on these, quite useful there, putting on the main stand, and also a pre-in grab handle for the back. Luggage hooks as well, really, really useful. I use those all the time on my 600. Really, really do love those things. I guess you could say one thing wrong with this is one of the luggage hooks there has decided to make a bid for freedom quite successfully. But Kawasaki still list those on the website. I think it was 18 quid plus the screw plus the rubber buffer. So you're talking 20-25 quid. I probably will get one at some point. Rear brakes, yeah, not bad actually. Underslung rear caliper on these. It's the same caliper that gets used across a lot of Kawasaki's the same age. It does cope very well with the stress. I can just see there's a nipple cover missing there. I've got some of those coming from Wiimoto. Really good price, guys. So I've got a full service kit coming from Wiimoto, and at the moment the oil filters are on sale, £3.97, and that comes with a couple of sump washers and also the rubber ring to go around the housing itself. It's not a cartridge filter on these. It's the old style, what do you call it? I can't think of the name now, but it's not a cartridge filter like modern bikes. It's no more difficult to change, I suppose you'd say. I guess you call it an element type filter. So that'll be done as well. Rear tyre again, matched Pirelli Diablo. So 180 on these, which is a reasonable sized tyre for the time, and I guess even now is a fairly decent sized tyre. And as you can see by the lines there, just starting to get a bit more used to the handling now. As I covered right at the start, guys, I'm going to do some onboards of this. I'm going to do some more in-depth reviews of every single component at far more depth. But I just wanted to do a quick introduction. So it's only going to be about a 15-minute video, so you won't have to carry on listening to my boring voice for much longer. I just wanted to say welcome to the family, welcome to the personal collection. I don't have any particular plans about crossing Europe and doing any silly challenges or whatever else goes on in the wonderful world of YouTube these days. My plan is to enjoy it as a sort of sunny weather sort of tool, really. Take it over to Wales, enjoy the rides over there. Is this sort of bike appropriate in modern day speed restrictions, cameras everywhere? Not so many of my former colleagues as they used to be around, unfortunately, in terms of traffic police. Well, the throttle does work two ways, but at the end of the day, what's the point in having a bike like this if you don't enjoy the power? And by that I mean the torque, and that's one thing I just want to cover for a couple of minutes now. The early ones of these were restricted to 125 horsepower, this being a D or a D5 model precisely. My understanding is these weren't restricted, so it's around about 135, 140 horsepower. On a good day, assuming the carbs and stuff are all set up well, the air filter's good, well serviced, all in balance, everything else. Is it around there? Possibly, I guess so. More than enough. That's how much power it's got, or more torque, more accurately. And Kawasaki's do have a very specific feel to the engines, particularly these earlier ones, which are all derived from essentially the GP-Z900R engine. While these are called an 1100, they're actually 1052 cc, I think. So yeah, okay, fair enough. Kawasaki creative license. It is nearer 1100 than 1000. The engine was used in the ZX-10 as well, not the ZX-10R, the ZX-10. I think it was called the B model, might have been the designation. Called the Tomcat and Sun Marks, or Markets more accurately. Essentially, it's that engine. Just slightly, I think it might be stroked rather than bored. Again, I'm not sure. It's really all about the torque rather than the horsepower, this engine, of which it has more than enough for current roads. One thing you will see on these, again, is coming across lots of Kawasaki's, and in fact they've reintroduced it on the Z1000SX, is the concentric chain adjusters. I love these, absolutely brilliant. They're so simple to use, so quick and easy, and they do hold alignment better. That's not to say they can't slip, so do check them, guys, when you adjust your chains. They are concentric. The theory behind it is they shouldn't ever lose alignment, but like anything, if there's two sides, one of them can be different. Well, I hope you're enjoying this little walk around anyway. I'm not going to waffle on for too much longer. I just see we're coming up on 15 minutes now. Do ask any questions you've got about these. I have got the 600, as you know. I'm going to do a direct comparison video. I'm going to get a friend of mine, yes I do have friends, to jump on the 6, and we'll see if we can do a back-to-back with two of us riding. If not, I'll try and do some YouTube wizardry and make it look like it's two bikes out at once. Just to wrap up, guys, in terms of accommodation, I mean, I'm 6'1", 14-ish stone. Make them nearer 15, maybe 16 these days. Lovely and roomy, and don't be offended by this, but this is what I call a proper-sized, big, hyper sports tourer. It's not a sports bike. It's essentially designed for covering a huge distance very quickly in comfort, and take that into context, it does every single one of those things. It's not going to frighten something like a ZX14 or a ZZ-R1100, which I do have plans to add to the garage next year. Just for no reason other than I like ZZ-Rs. I want to get the trio, so the 6, the 11 and the 14. The 12, although it's a good bike, and apologies to any owners that have got them, I can't get past the looks. In every dynamic way, it's better than the 11. It's a generation behind the 14, but I can't open the garage door to that face, and I'm sure my good lady wife says the same thing, and she's been with me for 16 years now, so it is possible. We're going to start wrapping this up now, guys. I'll pop this on YouTube as soon as I can do, say we're on Tuesday night. And keep an eye on the channel, we've got lots coming on. Lots with the Across Tourer, some with this 11, some with the 6. I've got some stuff coming up with Honda as well, so I'm going to try and slide in some reviews. I'm going to be try my luck and see if I can get hold of the blade. I have heard some rumours, I'm sure you've all seen the stuff all over the internet about the new 2024 blade being a V4. Not confirmed. I'll be surprised if that is the case. I'm going to try and tap up some sources and find out what I can about that one for you. If that is the case, that the 2024 blade is indeed a V4, then that has got a very strong chance of being my next big purchase. I don't mean to sound like I've got oodles of money. I haven't. I'm like 99% of you guys. I've got a mortgage, 2 kids and a full-time job. Some good decisions early on in my life in terms of property have helped me out where I am now. It's no big secret. Let's see what happens with this video, guys. I hope you enjoy it. And again, pop any comments you've got below, any questions, any queries. I'll do what I can to answer them. And you are all subscribing in good numbers now. The channel's doing well. And keep the questions coming. I'll speak to you all very soon. Take care, everyone. Enjoy the sun. Be sensible. And keep the rubber on the road.